This was 3 years of the FBI and Democrats and the media all working together to stop a presidential administration. That is the biggest conspiracy this country has ever seen. And there's only one thing that they're claiming that makes it not a conspiracy is it was all an accident. That's right. Every lie from Schiff, every lie from the media, every action taken by the FBI, all coming together to create a massive Russia collusion investigation with Pulitzer Prizes. Whoops! All of the reporters, all of the Democrats, and all of the feds slipped on a banana peel at the exact same time, did a backflip, landed perfectly, and won awards for it. And it was just one big accident.
And are the awards going to be withdrawn? I mean, this is what bothers me the most. I know it's important to confirm the revelations that the Durham report produces, but nothing's going to happen, right? The Proud Boys are going to have to go back to court to argue that the text messages where they're saying, where should we meet up on January 6th, prove that they didn't have a plan for that day. Meanwhile, no one involved in this is going to face conspiracy charges. And I hate to turn this into Grimcast, but it really is incredibly frustrating and disheartening. There is no punishment for what happened.
There can be. When Trump gets reelected, I expect him to have an AG start issuing these indictments, convening grand juries, and grand juries, they say, can indict a ham sandwich. Bring it on. Present the evidence and say, did these people conspire? You know what? I'll tell you this. Tit for tat. Let's play tit for tat. If you're going to accuse Donald Trump of working for the Soviet Union, then we're going to accuse you of conspiracy because y'all did say these things. Let's just go ahead and assume you did it on purpose.
Yeah. Well, remember, Tim, what they're going to try to argue is that you're an insane conspiracy theorist for thinking that basically every relevant person within the deep state being tilted against Trump and trying to unseat him on bad evidence isn't an actual coup, or is an actual coup. I'm sorry. That's a bridge too far. But them believing that the president of the United States literally colluded with Russia to rig the election and he was an asset of Putin the entire time is just reasonable thinking. And without any evidence, they could say that on national television to the American people.
Well, let's slow down there a second, Seamus. Do you think the Democrats did what we know they did?
You know, it's a tough one,
no?
man. I got to be honest.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
I'm going to speak with my lawyer. Yeah, of course.
Conspiracy theory.
I
got you.
And by the way, I just have to say, I said, a lot of my early career had to do with focusing on Chinese Communist Party infiltration. If Donald Trump's cardinal sin was, collaborating with the Russian government, which we know never happened, I mean, the people who are accusing him of doing that is like textbook projection.
Yep.
In the sense that all of these, I actually used to do this can tell you what kind of social life I have. But if you used to look at the headlines that they would write on CNN, the New York Times, Washington Post about Trump and linking him to Russia, you could basically cross out Trump and replace it often with Democrats, sometimes establishment Republicans, and then cross out Russia and put in China because the connections exist. So this whole idea that there's this, collaborating and collusion with foreign governments, I'm like, Democrats, you guys wrote that playbook when you started taking cash from Chinese Communist Party influence groups.
Exactly. And so we see how much the goalpost has moved over the years, right? Back in 2016, Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. We know he colluded with the Russians. The entire thing is a farce. The president is owned by the Kremlin. And then, okay, well, maybe he colluded with them. And then, okay, so, well, there's no evidence that he colluded with them, but the investigation was done in good faith. And now it's, the investigation wasn't done in good faith, and there were a lot of biases in it, and the FBI clearly played favorites by warning the Clinton campaign, not the Trump campaign, and they launched the investigation on bad information. But it wasn't a coup. It was not an intentional coup.
And
it's
he's
like,
done all
okay,
these other
I'm sure.
things.
Every single thing you have said along the way since this investigation first began, since this Russiagate farce was incepted, has been completely wrong. And now you expect us to believe you when you say this wasn't a coup? I'm sorry, we've run out of good faith.
The lawyer involved in the first impeachment tweeted out when Trump, right before his inauguration, we are going to impeach you.
Yep.
Like they expressed their intent before there was any criminal accusations or any potential wrongdoing or anything they could accuse him of. They said, we will do it no matter what.
And meanwhile, in the same exact time frame, the FBI, the Treasury Department was getting suspicious activity report after suspicious activity report based off the business dealings of Hunter Biden and all, dozen Biden family members. And they were actively suppressing that. These are obviously politically exposed personnel's PEPs. So they knew what Hunter Biden was doing from the financial transactions. And it just shows you it's not even a double standard of justice, because that implies that we're in the same realm of standards. It's otherworldly. It's just ridiculous.
Yep. And I think that there's a lot to what you're saying, Hannah Claire, about the fact that our institutions probably will not punish themselves for their wrongdoings. I also hear what you're saying, Tim, about the fact that Trump being reelected could mean that he actually would go after these people and they would be duly punished for their crimes against this nation. But I will say one thing. I believe that the real black pill is not that, people who have information that could lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton die. It's that no amount of information will ever lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton, right? Yeah. And that applies overall to this deep state. Like, maybe Trump does get in. Maybe he is able to appoint investigators. It's certainly going to be an uphill battle, man.
We should have titled today's episode, Timcast reveals information that will lead to the arrest of Hillary. Just like, see what happens, maybe it will. Maybe it will.
Yeah.
Maybe when Trump gets back in office, he will finally follow through with locking up Hillary Clinton because, this was it. It was the Democrats. It was the Clintons. It was Obama. They were trying to intentionally smear Donald Trump to win an election, and they framed him as a traitor to this country.
Yeah. And the headlines are going to be Donald Trump uses justice system for his own vindictive means to an end. You know what I mean? I mean, even if we were to get some of these officials behind bars to have to publicly face what they have done to the American people, not just to Donald Trump, but to the people who supported him, right? There is no way that the media lets this go, right?
Yep.
Even now, I think part of this time is exactly what you're saying, the timeline you laid out of being like, there definitely was a problem all the way to like, well, there wasn't anything and also we are biased and we're sort of admitting it. By now, they're gonna be like, well, but he just got found guilty in this case and he's being investigated over here. And let's talk to Alvin Bragg. And it almost doesn't matter because they were just waiting to come up with something else to try and hold against Trump. And it is honestly astounding. I don't know that we'll ever see anything like it in our lifetime of someone they hate more than Donald Trump. I mean, It's truly unbelievable the lengths that the mainstream media and the deep state will go to fight against him.